welcome to the SVG TV News for Wednesday, November 2nd. I'm Khalil Cato with the details. A moist atmosphere is forecast over St. Vincent and the Grenadines during the next 3 days as a tropical wave continues to affect the islands and an upper-level trough becomes more defined over the region. This is according to a 72-hour outlook by the SVG Meteorological Services, which says model guidance is suggesting 50 millimeters of rainfall by tonight, and that on Thursday, a southeasterly wind flow is expected to move across the island chain into Friday, bringing moisture and showers across SVG from Thursday night into Friday. Residents and motorists are asked to exercise caution. Small craft operators and sea bathers are also asked to exercise caution, as seas are forecast to become slight to moderate, with swells at 0.5 meters on the western coasts and 1.5 meters on the eastern coasts by Friday. In addition, the Met Services says a light haze intrusion is expected throughout the 72-hour forecast period. The government's housing repair program has recommenced in communities in the red zone, both on the leeward and windward sides of the island. This is according to Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for North Windward, Montgomery Daniel, who on NBC Radio's Face-to-Face program today says the demand for housing repairs is high, noting that while they have already completed work on just over 700 houses, another 700 are down to be repaired, and the numbers keep climbing daily.
What appeared to be very good in the last couple of months, it is not so anymore. And you would have gone onto house roofs, do the cleaning, and to get them in shape, to have them livable again. And the naked eye would have shown to you that what is remaining there is looking good. But after several weeks and months, the deterioration is fast. And so you have now, even some of the houses that you would have repaired, as I said, that appeared to be looking good, again is now showing signs of weakness, and the roof is faulty. It's leaking again. So we have to continue to do this repair program for over a period of time. I'm sure Prime Minister Gonsalves would have indicated that not only in this year that we have to allocate financing for improved housing condition, but of course we have to continue to do that even into next year.
Minister Daniel says of the 68 houses they have built from scratch, they have already built 27 and have started another 21 in the Orange Hill area and another 20 to be built in the Sandy Bay area. The Deputy Prime Minister says he is quite aware of the overall demand for housing throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the government, through its housing program, is seeking to meet much of this request.
Of course, the HLDC continues to provide housing under the low and middle income housing program, of course. But where we have persons who are affected in one way or the other by storm or by fire, whatever disaster, of course, the Ministry of Housing steps in to assist in this regard. Okay. And so the work continues in the Ministry of Housing, of course. I had the opportunity to lead a delegation to Guyana 2 weeks or so ago, and we actually went looking at the houses that are made of board, and which can give us a more quick establishment of these houses. And we had a very good visit. The Ministry of Housing, of course, are now getting down to the final details with the producers in Guyana, and they're working out the final cost at the end of the day, cost is what is going to drive the program. We have the steel frame structures. We have the wall that we are accustomed to, the blocks and mortar. And now we have the board houses. So that, of course, cost is going to drive this program as to where we go. And preference is also of one's choice. And that's the nature of democracy.
Meanwhile, Minister Daniel says he's pleased with the progress of the work on the temporary bridges being placed over the river crossings at Overland and Noel in his constituency, North Windward. He says the structures are beginning to take shape, with a completion date given to be about the end of November.
I'm indeed happy as to where we are with this level of construction, so that I want to say to you that the constituency of North Windward, particularly the north of the river and the area that has been affected over the last couple of months in relation to access, I want to say that the constituency, come early December, will receive a very interesting Christmas present from the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, wherein that the temporary bridges will be in and will be used. You will have access, easier access, moving north or south of those two rivers, both Overland and Noel. It is indeed a great feeling, and I'm sure that the persons who will be using the facility, I'm sure that they will be feeling much more happy at this time with those structures in place.
Daniel says since he became the MP for the North Windward area, over 9 bridges have been built and another 3 or so substantially repaired, among other work.
I'm happy that we would have done that amount of work in that constituency. Mind you, from Rabaka to Fancy, there are 19 river crossing, and of that 19 river crossing, of course, we have done a subsequent amount of work in terms of bridges crossing those rivers. We are finally doing 2 more, and I will continue to do as much as I can, given the resources and the time available. I'm indeed happy as to where I am at this point in time when it comes to access into that constituency. And while we had that level of improvement in that constituency, of course, the rains itself, again over the weekend, posed tremendous problems all across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There were landslides all across the various communities. And I want to thank Braxa for it, their quick response in getting into these areas and moving the debris and making access available again.
Daniel, who holds the portfolio of Minister of Transport and Works, Lands and Physical Planning, lamented that there continues to be serious challenges for Bragza and the Ministry of Transport in dealing with faulty physical infrastructures on private properties, some of which pose a threat to the public.
Because through the Office of the Chief Engineer, of course, that the assessments have to be done and to inform the private owners as to what is the reality of the situation. But it is of concern to the Ministry of Transport and Works, because if you have a back wall standing that is challenged, that you're already seeing failure, then of course, depending on the height and water view over the road, it is going to pose a problem to the traveling public. So that Coming out of what we would have seen on the last weekend, I would have asked as the Minister of Transport and Works to have the ministry, to have the engineering department, to begin looking seriously at a number of these walls and to have the work done to the extent that the individuals are informed of the threat that exists, and to see how and what work can be done to improve.
There is tremendous potential for the apiculture industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is according to Chief Agricultural Officer Renato Gums at the opening ceremony of the 11th Caribbean Beekeeping Congress held at the cruise ship berth on Sunday under the theme Building the Resilience of a Beekeeping Industry After a Natural Disaster. Gums said that he is even hoping to see programs relating to beekeeping launched in schools across the country.
It offers a significant opportunity for young people to get involved. And I think we have to get that instilled in the students. And I would like to see some program launched, especially with the community college, to get them involved in the beekeeping. Now, in rounding up, I would just like to commend and congratulate, and should also thank the local Beekeepers Association and the Caribbean Beekeepers Association for hosting this event here. It's significant in that I hope it will give an impetus to the industry and get more persons involved, because we still import a lot of honey, you know, despite what you say. We still import a lot of honey. So I think there's an opportunity for us to expand our production and try as much as possible to take advantage of the opportunities, increase local consumption, and there's one thing I want to say also. I was listening to the news some time ago, and the Australians were complaining about the crop not performing this year. And you know who they blame? The bees. See, the bees were not around. So we see how important the bees are to food security. And it's very important. I'm not telling mankind to kill themselves so that the bees could survive, but at least we have to step back a bit and take the bees into consideration and not be selfish about what we want to achieve personally. So
the Chief Agricultural Officer says a challenge for SVG, however, is to maintain a bee population.
That has been going on for thousands of years because mankind has been a natural disaster. And it's still ongoing. Mankind, they tend to be very selfish. They think about themselves only and how they want to exist. And anything that stands in that way will be removed. And it has been destructive to the environment. Now, the use of pesticides, I mean, we have to go with technology. And technology is changing in terms of controlling mosquitoes. Some countries are using sterile males to mate with the females. When they lay eggs, really, they don't really mate. But in the discussion I had with public health, we are first of all trying to identify those areas where the bee population is active and try to avoid spraying in those areas. That's one of the things we look at. But then in our next round of discussions, personnel from the ministry would meet with their personnel and see if we can come up with different solutions.
The Environment Conservation Fund is one of the partners in this year's Caribbean Beekeeping Congress, and Director of the fund, Louise Mitchell, says they are committed to assisting with the development of SVG's apiculture industry.
We have committed to support the association on a tree propagation and planting project where there will be a focus on mangrove and mango trees, both of these tree species having been established as great habitats for bees. Both in the Grenadines and on the mainland, there's been a significant loss of mangroves due in part to tourism development. It is hoped that the tree planting project of the SVG Beekeepers Association will help to restore some of the mangroves lost and reduce the tendency to turn to concrete for sea defenses rather than the arguably more effective and certainly more attractive mangroves. The work of the Beekeeping Association is critical. We hope that the hosting of this Congress will bring to light some of the challenges facing bees and other pollinators in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Bees and other pollinators and other beneficial predatory insects are suffering from increased urbanization, as well as the use of pesticides in agriculture, landscaping, and vector control.
The 11th Caribbean Beekeeping Congress wrapped up here today with a trip to Union Island, where the local Beekeeping Association had successfully introduced bees through an Australian aid project. Cyprian Mack, alias Secret of Chester Cottage, is the victim of this country's 34th homicide for the year. Reports are that yesterday the deceased was found lying in his yard with what appeared to be a gunshot wound to his head. He was pronounced dead at the scene by the district medical officer. The motive surrounding the killing is unknown. A post-mortem examination is expected to be carried out on Mack's body to ascertain the exact cause of death. Police say investigations into the matter are ongoing. Persons with information that can assist with this investigation are encouraged to contact the Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crimes at telephone number 457-1211, the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department at 456-1810, or the officer in charge of the Eastern Division at 458-6229, or any police station or police officer you're comfortable speaking with. All information received would be treated confidentially. Minister of Tourism Carlos James says government has allocated over $1 million for the rehabilitation and beautification of recreational sites across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. During his remarks at the National Parks Appreciation Day ceremony on Monday, Minister James says more money will also be allocated for the addition of lifeguards at some beaches as SVG prepares for a record cruise season with many tourists expected to visit these recreational sites.
Look at the beaches, and I know National Parks, they have been doing tremendous work. We're hoping to see in the estimates for next year the addition of lifeguards to go on our beaches. They continue to put a lot of infrastructure and resources in at our beaches. We have spent roughly over $1 million to enhance facilities at Brighton, Indian Bay, and Villa, and different sites as far as the North Leeward and North Windward, to enhance the sites so that when you go to a beach, there's a change room, there are bathroom facilities, there are amenities which you will be comfortable. And at the same time, workers were placed at the sites to ensure that we continue to keep the sites clean. And the environment that we have to promote and push, the enhancement of our sites, but also the environment in which we exist.
Minister James emphasized that there are certain standards that have to be maintained at recreational sites and urged all stakeholders to take responsibility in beautifying SVG.
Have that responsibility to enhance St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not just for visitors, but for ourselves. Our tongue continues and remains untidy. A lot of it as a result of vending and what happens after the vending. We have to work closely with the Kingston Tongue Board to ensure that we can strike a balance with the vendors, because we also have to protect livelihoods, but at the same time recognize the importance of our environment. We have to ensure that we do this with a level of seriousness, and we use opportunities like National Parks Day to recognize the hard work and contribution of all of the staff of this authority, but also the importance of the stakeholders and the work they do to ensure that we continue to keep our environment clean.
The tourism minister says next year they're hoping to relaunch the National Best Village competition.
And we can all show that there's national support for the environment and the beautification of sites across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is one of the things which I've asked the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority to seriously look at in the coming year. We have to move towards ecotourism, in ensuring that there's an enhanced visibility across our roads. And you drive on the leeward and the windward side sometimes, and outside of the road cleaning cycle, it is sometimes difficult to navigate our roads because of the overgrowth in the grass and so on our roads. We have to take that responsibility to beautify our country. And I want to see next year we return to our national best village competition, and National Pass will take the lead in ensuring that we start the process of beautifying St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not just at our sites, but the entire country. I thank you.
A safety expo is being held by the Ministry of Education as part of School Safety Month, being observed under the theme Safety for Sustainable Development. Senior Education Officer of Research and School Safety, Dr. Idelia Ferdinand, says the aim of the expo, which starts today and ends on Friday, is to increase public awareness and educate students and teachers about school safety.
So we have the school safety unit, and we will be highlighting some of our first aid kit and other equipment that we have assisted the schools with, and other jingles and videos and information about how to be safe going to school and at school. NEMA would be involved, the fire department would be involved. Of course, we know that fire is one of those hazards that we are faced with, not just in buildings, but also in our environment. So we do have bushfires. The Coast Guard will be involved in terms of marine safety. The Met Office, the Sustainable Development Unit will particularly highlight chemicals and so on that are used in the labs and for which our children need to maintain safety. The forestry will be involved in terms of the environment and equipment, the Red Cross in terms of first aid, and of course UNESCO, one of our other partners, will also be involved, showcasing how they are supporting disaster risk reduction and school safety.
Dr. Ferdinand said other activities to be held for the month include a school safety quiz and an essay competition.
That we have in week 3 our school safety quiz, and we are hoping that all our secondary schools will participate in this quiz. It's specifically for our lower forms 1, 2, and 3. And the reason for that is because the curriculum that we develop for disaster risk reduction and climate change is for forms 1 to 3. And that is the curriculum that we will draw the question from for the quiz. So we are encouraging the schools and the students to prepare using the disaster risk reduction and climate change curriculum. Each school is expected to have 2 participants, and we'll have the preliminaries, all of them on Monday the 14th, and on the 18th we'll have our finals. And there are some very good prizes to be won. The corporate sector have been very supportive in providing headphones and junior savers accounts, tablets, and other prizes that we will give to our students who are outstanding. Even the schools where the students are from, the outstanding ones, will get prizes as well.
Over 2,000 books are to be donated to branch libraries across St. Vincent and the Grenadines from Macmillan Education Caribbean in an effort to promote reading among Vincentian children. Director of Libraries, Archives and Documentation Services, Michelle King Campbell, spoke at the launch of the Library Caravan at the National Public Library today. According to a news release from the Agency for Public Information, King Campbell encouraged parents to enroll their children in their local libraries, as reading at an early age can foster growth and development, and thanked Macmillan Education Caribbean for their continued support. Marketing Manager of International Curriculum and Caribbean Macmillan Education, Amanda Naylor, said Macmillan has a rich history that spans over a century, and the company will continue to adapt to meet the changing needs of the public. Librarian of the UWI Open Campus, Patricia Batiste, urged parents to take responsibility in ensuring their children's literacy is enhanced and strengthened, because the partnership among the education system, community, as well as the family will ensure that children become more engaged in reading. The Library Caravan will run on November 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th under the theme Connecting Families and Communities Through Reading. Macmillan Education Caribbean, FLOW, Hands Across the Sea, Games Book Center, National Libraries, and One St. Vincent Group are all part of this national initiative. Additionally, the month of November is termed as Family Literacy Month in libraries nationwide. Two local entrepreneurs who had their businesses featured at the Everything Vinci Expo last week said they were very grateful for the opportunity to promote their products. Here's more on Kalinago Tribe essential oils, which are made from locally grown plants and roots.
Oil is the lifeblood of a plant or plants. So we take any plants or roots and make it into essential oil by distilling our oils in stainless steel distillers. Our oil is edible as well, and to do with the plants, we grow our own plants, and those plants that we grow ourselves, we harvest them from the rugged rocky mountain of our island. And this area, we harvest our plants. It's not chemicalized. So we use these plants to make our oil along with our water, pure water from the mountains up to distill our oils. And we choose the plants very good when we're doing our oils. We make sure that they're full blown or clean. And our distill take place mainly in the night when the place is cool, so that we can get the best quality of oil. Some of our plants grow in different altitude, so that we can get more oil from some of our plants.
Crown of Curls sells natural hair products from natural ingredients grown in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
This is my Crown of Curls. We create natural hair care products right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have products that moisturize your hair, help your hair to be nourished. We have treatments, all different kinds of hair masks, leave-in conditioners, moisturizers, hair growth oils. Whatever you need for your hair, we have it. So our products are made from all natural ingredients. Most of them are found right here in St. Vincent. We have an Irish sea moss line made from sea moss that we get from the Grenadines. We also have an avocado honey line. Our honey and our avocados are sourced locally. We have a honey almond line as well. We also infuse lots of herbs like peppermint and rosemary and lavender and so on into our products, so they nourish your hair and help your hair to grow. It's located in the Baines building on the middle floor. That's the big blue building next to Bank of St. Vincent. I also have a website, www.mycrownofcurls.com. I ship regionally and internationally, and our products are available locally as well.